Just who do you think you are?
Well, I'm Amber. Who do you think you are?
Well, I'm Brent. Welcome back to Black Sheep Meadow. We got a good one for you today.
We got a great one for you today.
Alrighty, folks. So today for us, not today for y'all, but y'all are about 3 days behind us. But today for us, we are on our 1 year of YouTube.
1 year of YouTube.
And we decided that today we're going to do something just a tad bit different than we've done in any of our previous YouTube videos.
Right. So what we decided to do was we wanted to help introduce y'all to us and let y'all get to know us a little bit better, maybe a little bit more outside of the YouTube channel, just us in general life. So what we did was, between me and Brent, we each sat down and wrote several questions. I don't know how many are in here. I think there's 11, 12 questions, and we put them in this cup, and we're going to take turns asking each other questions so that you guys can figure out who we are.
And they're about the homestead or about us or what we like or different things.
Right. So. It's a random mix of stuff about homesteading and then about us, just personal life in general. And we're going to go. Do you want to start? You want me to start?
I'll start.
You start. Pick one.
I don't pull them all out.
Yeah, don't pull them out. First question.
So what is your favorite food or thing to eat?
Favorite food or thing to eat? That would probably have to be homemade pie. And it has to be homemade.
Like your homemade or Miss Pat's homemade?
Well, Miss Pat's homemade is the best homemade. But I really think it's any homemade pie in general. I don't even really care if it tastes good. I just appreciate and really like what goes into a homemade pie. When I say homemade, I mean the crust, the filling, everything. There's a lot of love that has to go into a homemade pie, and I really just enjoy when somebody makes me a pie and I get to have something that's homemade like that. I just really appreciate it, and it really sticks with me. It's very comforting. What about you? What is your favorite food? My
favorite thing to eat, first off, Miss Pat, we need a Pie Camp 102. But my favorite food or thing to eat, without a doubt, would definitely be Texas style barbecue. And it would have to have a thin German-like barbecue sauce with it. There's probably a few places in the state of Texas that can get close to what I like. That being said, I like to make it for myself. So
it's more of a vinegary-based barbecue sauce? Kind of runny, vinegary-based. So that's good. Let me do the next question. I feel like we're on like a game show.
Yeah.
See. How long have we known each other? I guess this is a question for us to answer at the same time and see how close we get.
25 years.
24 years? 25 years?
No, it's actually probably been, 24 years. 24 years. It's been a while.
It's been a while, since in high school. So, yeah, we've known each other for a very long time.
Let's get in. Where were you born?
I was born in Beaumont, Texas. Where were you born?
I was born in Richmond, Texas.
Lucky you.
Yeah. We should have put questions in there like, how long have you stayed in Texas?
Yes, this is true.
I've been here my whole life.
My turn.
Oh, sorry, your turn.
My turn. I'm gonna like this. This is fun. Let's see. If I can get it open, you would think I would make it easier. Oh. What is your favorite drink?
My favorite drink, well, okay, so born and raised in Texas, always been here, it has to be iced tea. That being said, there's probably a few exclusions. If it's the right day, I wouldn't mind a good whiskey. I don't deal with Scotch whiskeys or none of that. It'd have to be like a good American whiskey or a good Texas whiskey. Outside of that, 99.9% of the time, it's always iced tea.
Mine would be really good water. I like really good water, unless it's wintertime. And if it's wintertime, I want cold bourbon. I'm very picky about the bourbon too.
Yeah.
But
so no Texas whiskey, no.
Well, it's bourbon.
Just bourbon. It has to qualify in the bourbon scale.
It has to qualify in a bourbon. My favorite happens to be a Texas bourbon, but I will enjoy other bourbons. I mean, bourbon's going to be an American thing anyway.
So, Let's look at the next one. 3 things you don't like in or out of homesteading.
Oh, 3 things. So let's see, taxes, government interfering in my business, and laundry. I don't like laundry.
So in order.
Oh, you're going to do yours in order.
I'm going to do mine in order. First and foremost, politicians. I don't care for politicians. Unuseful or let's say unuseful bugs are purposeless bugs. You know, bugs that like to eat my stuff in the garden, bite me, bite the dog, that type stuff. Unuseful.
Eat our vegetables.
Eat our vegetables, yeah. And then the third thing that I don't like in or out of the homestead would probably have to be venomous snakes.
Yeah, those are good ones too.
Mm-hmm.
Very good ones. Oh,
see the next one.
Next one. Let's see. If you could travel anywhere in the world, where and why?
So this one isn't obvious for people that know me, but I want to go to Egypt. And not so much for the culture that's there, but for some of the landmarks, seeing the pyramids and maybe the Sphinx, that type stuff. You know, those monuments have been there for thousands of years before us, and they're going to be there for thousands of years after us. So
mine would probably be similar because we're history people. We both really enjoy history. Mine would probably be like Ireland, Scotland. I want to see castles. So stuff that was from the Bronze Era, or maybe even pre-Bronze Era. I really like the history and being able to see structures and things that are still there that were from so long ago. And I think over in that area is just a really cool, what's the word I'm trying to look for? I'm looking for, it's a...
nostalgic.
Well, yes, and the landscape and the environment that it is in is drastically different from here. Mm-hmm. And I think I would really enjoy seeing that and experiencing all of that.
So our next one.
Next question.
Why homesteading, and what does homesteading look like to you?
Why homesteading? I think I've said this multiple times in previous videos. I like homesteading because I like knowing where a lot of my stuff comes from. And I like the feeling of accomplishment, of being self-sufficient and having that ability. I really enjoy that. And I think what it looks like, part of what I really enjoy about homesteading is that it can look different for everybody. Mm-hmm. Like it's kind of like your kitchen. Everybody's kitchen set up a little bit different, but it's still a kitchen. So if it works for you, it's a good homestead. Mm-hmm. But I think that our homestead, or for me, homesteading looks more self-sufficient, less reliable on the system, and like an old West town.
Yeah. So
what about you?
For homesteading, for me, why homesteading? So I like being self-sufficient. I don't like having to depend on other people. I find more often than not on a day-to-day basis that the public's getting harder and harder to depend on. You can't get people to show up to work, or to show up on time, or those kind of things. So I like being able to be self-sufficient, do it myself, and be able to produce for myself. Those are all, I think, reasons why any homesteader does what they do. Obviously, the work input into the homestead is far more than just going to a grocery store and buying produce off the counter for X number of dollars per pound. As far as what homesteading looks like to me, I kind of have a picture painted in my head from my youth of my great-grandparents' farm. And once again, it looks nothing like our homestead as an old West town, but that's just what it is, childhood memories.
The older generation, several generations back.
Yeah, that really knew how to take care of themselves.
They did. The grocery store wasn't as accessible.
Yep.
Or the system.
The system was not as accessible.
Because it's not just the grocery store.
So it's everything.
Everything that you get assisted with.
Yep.
And having a homestead is
our own heat from firewood, our own water collection, our own produce, our own meat.
Yep.
Our own shelter. Every bit of it is part of the homestead.
Is it my turn?
Yep, it's your turn.
My turn. I think we saved the harder questions for last, and we were just randomly picking them. One chore on the homestead you like best. So, like, chores?
So one of my favorite chores, and I just mentioned this too. One of my favorite chores on the homestead is actually splitting wood. I enjoy a lot of things on the homestead, but splitting wood is one of those things where there's obviously an engine running for hydraulic purposes, and I can zone out. I don't have to, no one's asking me questions where I got to answer them. The only thing I got to make sure of is I don't chop any of my fingers off whenever the wedge comes down and splits the wood. It's not that I'm zoned out. I'm thinking about other things, or it gives me time to think about other things that need thinking about. Like when are we going to plant our fall garden? It's work. It's good exercise for the forearms.
It becomes kind of a meditative thing, I think, for you. I know when he's splitting wood, I just kind of leave him alone and let him split wood. Mm-hmm. For me, chore, if we classify, a lot of people classify it as a chore, is, canning or processing food. But I don't know if I can classify that as a chore for me, just because I enjoy it so much. Mm-hmm. So I think if I'd have to go with things that maybe aren't the most pleasant, but I still enjoy it, it's kind of along the same thing as I kind of like cleaning out the chicken coops, because it's kind of mindless. I can kind of do the same thing. I can kind of zone out and just get into the flow of what I'm doing, and I kind of can let a lot of the other things go away, and I'm just physically exerting energy, and it's a one-person thing, so it's kind of that Zen thing. Mm-hmm. Is it my turn or your turn?
No, you got the last one. I got this one.
We got a few more left, guys.
2 things you must have on the homestead and why.
Ooh, 2 things. I can only do 2 things?
Yeah, 2 things.
2 things. One, my first thing would probably be the side-by-side, the mule. Because I feel like that is used for everything. Like the mule does everything. It hauls supplies to the bee yard. It hauls manure. It hauls fertilizer. It hauls harvest from the garden. We are in that mule all the time. If you're looking for a tool that you can't find where it's supposed to be, it's in the mule. So it becomes a toolbox. It's a mobile toolbox. It's a mobile workbench. The camera's sitting on the mule right now. Number 2, I'd have to go with a tractor, just because we move a ton of weight around multiple times. Like we're constantly moving large masses of things, anything from the hay to wood to fertilizer to compost, whatever it may be. I do not think you could do this without a good tractor. I just think it would be very, very difficult on your back. And then if we wanted to go for a bonus one for me, my another thing that would be high up on my list would be my canner. I don't think I could do a lot of my stuff without my canner.
Preservation.
My preservation, I like that. What about you?
So 2 things that I must have on the homestead, and my first one is going to be the rainwater collection system. And especially this time of year, we're getting into our dry season. It's been several, I don't know, I haven't kept track of how many days it's been since we had any measurable rainfall now.
At least a couple of weeks.
But I think right after the July 4th, so about 3 weeks. The rainwater collection, obviously we go through a bunch of water here on the homestead. We started drinking our own rainwater since we've been able to filter it and process it properly now. The amount of water that goes towards our chickens, turkeys, our garden, it's pretty ridiculous actually. When you start breaking it down, we are consuming somewhere around more than 500 gallons of water per day. So the rainwater collection system is keeping us from taxing our water well. Right. Overtaxing it. So that's the rainwater collection system is my first. And then my second is going to have to be the tractor as well. Not only, once again, like she said, do we move a lot of weight with the tractor, but it's also transportation for us. But all the implements that go onto the tractor, from the shredder to the hay equipment to the wood chipper, moving compost, you name it, post hole diggers, the box blade for grading the driveway. For grading it, yeah. So the tractor has, it serves so many purposes here on the homestead, and physically saves the body, all your joints and muscles from being overexerted. The person that made hydraulics was a wonderful person. Absolutely. Okay, so we're almost done here. Let's see what this next one is. This is a good one for you. Okay. Why YouTube? So, why YouTube? first and foremost, I got two reasons on why YouTube. First and foremost, I think society as a whole, people in general, are spiraling downhill so fast that they don't even recognize that they are fixing to crash. I think knowledge of being able to sustain and take care of yourself, which has been, for the most part, over the millions of years that we have been present on Earth, has been, I would like to call, common knowledge. We've been able, like, our species have been able to take care of ourselves for so long. Something happened in the past 60 to 80 years where more than 99% of the population would not be able to sustain without the system. You know, there's a lot of memes on different Facebooks and, you know, whatnot about, hey, look, there's cow eggs. And most people, I think, would understand that cows don't lay eggs, but there is a large percentage that think that's the truth. So for me, the YouTube thing is getting people to understand really the basic necessities of taking care of yourself, not just getting up every morning and brushing your teeth and clothing and taking a shower, but really being able to provide shelter, food, all the real necessities for yourself to survive. Second, I mean, I guess if we were to ever get big enough, we could monetize off of it maybe and expand the homestead.
Well, that would be nice.
So what about you?
Mine is probably a little different than a lot of people would think. I really do it because I like Brent's message. I do it because I like supporting him and his message, and I like the fact that he's wanting to keep that generational knowledge that we're slowly losing. Not that we know it all, but we're learning too as we go. We're trying to document it, and we're trying to put it out there for people that they, so it doesn't get lost. It's kind of, you know, when you have your great grandparents pass away, it's like a library getting burnt down and you don't know how that stuff worked. And I like that we're documenting it and we're keeping track and we're putting it out there for people to at least maybe open a discussion about it, or kind of have an idea about where your food comes from and how you can support yourselves and that kind of thing. So that's probably we got two more questions.
Two more questions?
I get the last one.
3 things that you like or enjoy.
3 things that I like or enjoy. Horses. Anything that has to do with horses, including the yucky stuff. Like, I will muck stalls and be happy. I will bathe horses and be happy. Obviously I like riding horses. So horses. I really enjoy photography. I enjoy what I get to do with photography. That's definitely up there on my list. And third would probably be anything in the kitchen. And I mean anything. Like, I don't have a problem doing dishes, but I love cooking. I love preserving food. I love anything that goes on in the kitchen. I love that the kitchen is kind of the gathering spot. Those would be my 3 things. The kitchen is up there. And anything. Sweeping the floor in the kitchen. Like, I just want to be in the kitchen.
So my 3 things would probably be, I'm going to combine 2, but hunting and fishing. I love being outdoors. I'd prefer not to be stuck within 4 walls for any given period of time during the day. So hunting and fishing is definitely the first. I like the Old West. I like pretty much most places: Arizona, Nevada, Utah, New Mexico. I just like the American West. And then for the third thing that I like or enjoy, really, I just like being here on my own homestead.
Being away from people.
Being away from people. Yeah, that's we're very secluded out here on our homestead. We've had several people tell us, man, you have to want to be here to find this place.
You definitely have to want to be here.
So that's the 3 things that I like and enjoy.
There we go. And let's see,
By the way, that last question, we talked about this before we started the video. We could not say each other.
Yeah, we said we couldn't say each other. Last question. What is your favorite thing about homesteading?
Hands down, being self-sufficient. First off, I'm a knowledge junkie. I love information. I love learning new things. And the homestead provides an abundance of different areas for me to learn new things. Whether it's across the board, from construction to growing food, growing animals, mechanical stuff, rainwater collection. I mean, you name it, staying warm in the wintertime and cool in the summer. I love it all.
That's good. Mine would be the preserving of the harvest.
Preserving of the harvest?
Preserving anything from preserving the meat or processing the meat, not necessarily processing, but the preserving part of it. Any of the canning, dehydrating. That would be my favorite part of the homestead, is the preserving part of it. For us to have that, what we grew for months down the road or years down the road, that's probably my favorite part of it, is seeing it come to that final step.
Success.
Yeah, I like that. I really, really like that. Well, guys, we finished our questions.
Yep.
Hopefully you guys hung out with us.
If y'all have any questions, leave them down below. We're going to answer them for you.
We'll answer any more questions you might have.
So give us your thought on any of that. We will...
Thank you for 1 year.
Yep.
And almost 600 followers now.
Hang in there. Next week, we're going to be butchering some chickens.
Yes, it's that time again. Round
be
2.
A drastic difference from question and answer to seeing chickens' heads roll.
And that's going to be a process.
So, in the meantime, guys, once again, I'm going to encourage y'all, get off the system, do things for yourself, become self-sufficient, quit depending on the grocery store.
Yep.
We'll see y'all next week.
We'll see you next week.